Hello. I wonder if anyone's ever come up to you with a gorgeous box of chocolates and said, would you like one? And you look at them and you think, oh, should I have the creme brulee? Should I have the lemon posset? I just can't decide. They all look so delicious. Well, today's Bible reading actually made me think a little bit like that person looking at the lovely box of chocolates. It's from the book of Colossians, which is a letter written by Paul while he was in prison to the church in Colossae. And he starts the letter off and he sends his greetings and he says he'll pray for them. And then he goes into what we think might be a song or a hymn that maybe the early Christians used in their worship. And there is so much in these 5 verses that I was a little bit like that person looking at the chocolates thinking it's very hard to decide which part of this reading to look at in detail. So forgive me, what I've decided to do is to look quickly at the whole reading with some pictures. If that doesn't help you, feel free to look away from the screen. And then we're going to focus just on the final verse of the reading. So from the beginning then, let's just look at what this reading is all about. Firstly, we read that the Son is the image of the invisible God. Well, here we are. There's some twins, there's some twin puppies, and we know, don't we, that even if puppies or children look the same, they're not actually the same. They've got different characteristics, different ways of reacting to other people. They're not really the same, they just look the same. But the point of this reading is that Christ, Jesus, and God the Father are really the image, the total image of each other in terms of their love, in terms of what they do. They are the image of one another in every way. And then we read that in him, that's Jesus, the Son, all things were created, all things, visible and invisible. So I thought about that, and this is what I've come up with just as a quick picture of some visible things. So I started off with some cells from the human cells they are, and then a little bit bigger and went to a baby, and then thought about the whole of our planet and the incredible creations that are in every part of our planet. And then I thought about going beyond our planet to the solar system, that's Jupiter down there, and then to our sun, and then out into the wider universe and galaxies far away. Visible things, I know we don't see them all the time, but with the right equipment, these are things that we can see that Jesus has created. And what about the invisible things? Things that we know are real, but we can't actually see. Thrones, as in people's authority and power, rulers, all of these things that are real things, Jesus has created and holds those things together. And then we read that Jesus is the head of his body, which is the church. So when we are part of a church, it's not just a nice thing sort of social thing to be part of. We are actually Christ's body here on earth. We are here to do his work, to show his love, to do the things which Christ did when he was walking on this earth. It's so important that we are committed to and part of the body of the church. And then we read that Jesus is the beginning and the firstborn from the dead. And I've just put a timeline on just to show that before time was, Jesus existed. God existed. We know that, don't we, from the beginning of Genesis. God, the Holy Trinity, was there before anything started. And we know, the timeline goes the other way as well, that Jesus will still be at a time when time will cease. God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell in him, dwell in Jesus. So all of God dwells in Jesus. Extraordinary thought. And then at the end of the passage we read that God reconciled the whole of creation. And he did that through Jesus' blood on the cross. We're going to think a little bit more now about what that actually means.